Hey, welcome to Culturally Canceled. It's me, Russell Peters. Very exciting episode today. We have, obviously, Lord Finesse, who's the resident in the building. We have the very funny Jason Collings sitting on my left. My old radio mate and dear friend, Mr. Mastermind Parhar is here. And also formerly from the Liquid crew, down with the Dre team, and also his own man, X to the Z, yes. Xzibit's in the house.
Yes.
We also have my brother, the most feared man in hip-hop, Freddie Fox, a.k.a. Bumpy Knuckles. And let's just get it. That's what we do. So we're just hanging out now. And this is basically how it goes there, X. We just sit here and we talk shit. And, and it's whatever. However this conversation starts, it starts.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there's no, beginning or end to it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I noticed, I don't want to blow up your spot. Xzibit showed up in a Ferrari today.
Yeah.
And I was like, I see what you're doing there, kid.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the first millionaire in my family.
Oh yeah.
So I was.
Same.
Yeah. So it was good to be able to learn about money, And so as I was a young guy, I blew through a lot of shit.
Same.
And then as I got financially literate, and I was able to figure out what was important, then I started focusing on the things I like, my needs, wants, and haves,
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and so once I was able to afford it, my grandfather taught me you don't buy anything until you can afford to buy it 3 times.
Oh, that's a good one to know.
Right. And
I heard twice. I've never heard 3 times.
Grandpa was really about making sure you're really secure.
Yeah, for sure. And he had stuff from like when he was a kid and they didn't have much, so he was had the milk jugs full of change, and every time he come in the house he just throw all he had in his pocket in there. So
this was in Detroit.
Yeah, this is in Detroit. So I learned a lot from that experience, and so now here I'm 46 now. Right. So now I'm able to buy things that I really want, you know what I'm saying? And I really and I can afford to have. So that's how we got to the Ferrari.
I just realized you're the youngest guy here.
Yeah, right.
You really are.
Really?
We're all old as shit. Yeah. Tell us what 46 is like nowadays, son. Yeah, I made mad mistakes with money. I realized it last year. I realized it way too late.
Yeah.
I was living like a rapper and I'm a comic. I'm like, what am I doing? You know this to be true, Bump. I was taking private jets and hey, where you go? Let's go. Let's all go first class. That kind of dumb shit.
Well, it's the images and it's the expectation that we try to live up to. But rarely do we live up to our reality, and everybody wants to have the appearance of success, especially in social media.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's life is great. Everybody's sex life is great. Everybody's rich. Everybody has this and everybody's going on. Yeah. But in reality, it doesn't happen that way. So, when I hit like a really tough spot, it was like, wow, I really fucked it up. I had like a $2 million tax debt. I had, it was very fucking bad. And I had, and just, when you're young, especially coming into the music industry, you get people that, you don't make it unless you have a contract, you have a business manager, you have a gold chain, a car, all these things. The I'm about to fail as a rapper kit. You know what I'm saying?
the starter kit.
The I'm about to fuck off all my whole shit rapper kit.
Yeah.
And so I had all these things, and none of those things and none of those people did the right thing by what they were hired to do. So I learned the hard way, man, and it's not easy to come out from under that.
It seems that is actually. It seems like that is a constant reoccurrence or occurrence in the music industry. Like you hear so many different stories about artists who manager ripped them off, lawyer ripped them off. Like I don't know if it's in any other industry, but I know it's very prominent in hip hop.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like those stories you hear them all the time.
Yes, and it doesn't help that they fucking don't pay you what you're supposed to be paid either. But that's a whole nother episode.
Hence industry shakedown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Bumpy doesn't just let it slide by. He write an album about it.
Yeah.
I want
he did 2 albums about it.
Then you be the first motherfucker in your family to rob a millionaire.
Yeah.
That's how it is. But at the end of the day, I took it that way because I said, you know what? It was weird. It was weird to have talent and be able to finally get to that place where you could see your name on a piece of vinyl, like, oh shit, I actually made. That's what we was looking at. We
were looking at the short story.
We was looking at that shit. But then when you say, oh shit, I get paid for this, and then then you realize by the time you realize what you're supposed to be paid, it's like you caught between, should I be grateful for the opportunity, or should I go shoot up this place about my money because I'm not used to being robbed? So.
That's hilarious that you said that. Considering your past.
Hey, I was always grateful for the opportunity.
No, just not shooting up the place to get your money.
You should end up being lawyer fees and shit like that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're right. They don't pay you. It's like they saw you. They see us coming. But if you ever watch those unsungs and all of the stories are the same. Everybody got, this one got funny with the money. It's always the money is always the bottom line. I don't care what anybody says. They could always say, it ain't about money. It ain't about money. That's a fucking lie. It's always about money. Yeah. And it's always going to end up being about money, even when they say it's not about money. Because the motherfuckers that have it, that didn't have it before, are totally different. But now they start off on the same level with you, and that's what makes people change. They don't change the better they get talent-wise. They change the more money they make.
Yeah, it's a pimp game.
Big time.
It really is a pimp game.
Yeah.
Big time.
Because you got the rich suits, those are the pimps, and y'all the hoes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, bring me your money, bitch. That's what you're doing.
Yep. Yeah, but you don't know it until you know it.
Yeah.
And then nobody's volunteering information. It's just, the way it was explained to me is like, this is industry standard, which is not necessarily the truth,
Well, I call it the layaway lifestyle, because, these kids come in with that perception, or they want the world to make them, look at a certain way, whether it's the jury, whether it's the cause, whether it's all that. And then when you finally get some good money, you got to catch up with that lifestyle you laid down.
Right.
Yeah. That's because people need validation from people, places, and things. There's always, rappers always feel like validation. They need validation. People, places, and things. They need everybody to approve them. They always have to explain themselves and shit. I wasn't scratching my balls because I had crabs. I was just scratching because my nuts was itching. Then like, what the fuck are you explaining this shit to me for? You know what I'm saying? So everybody needs validation. Always validation. Who they do, who they're with, why they're with this person. Why
that becomes the hamster wheel.
Yeah, stupid.
Because once you're on that hamster wheel, you're gonna just be running for the rest of your career. Because anything you do become successful with is never gonna be enough.
Right.
You did that, but what about this now?
Which leads people to trying to outdo everybody. Like it's like somebody got a Rolls Royce, you feel like that's your mark now. You got to reach that.
You got to get a plane.
Yeah, and you end up.
I went and did all that dumb Rolls Royce shit.
Yeah.
I think I had 3 of them.
Yeah.
Not at once. But I had 3 different ones at 3 different times, and none of them ever made a fucking difference in my life.
Nope.
When they're gone, I'm like, I don't miss
It's
it.
like driving a car. The feeling, the excitement you get from driving it wears off, and then it's just like, I need to get in my car and go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that your everyday car then?
No, it's not. I have. It just so happens I drove that today. Because
it's twice. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I got a tank that I'm getting fixed right now. So
a real tank,
Rizvani. Yeah.
Just so you know,
and you can drive it street legal.
Yeah.
I took a picture next to it. I'm going to claim it on
Instagram.
Instagram.
There you go. No problem.
Because the biggest money mistake.
Ferrari?
Yeah. The biggest money mistake I've ever made was not making enough to buy a Ferrari.
No, that's a common one.
Yeah. I wish that I had, because I got into the music thing when I was like 89.
His dad was a musician.
Yeah, my father had a hit single in 1970 and like toured all over. And so when I was like 12, I got into martial arts, and my family was kind of hoping that we would go into that business, but I always had that entertainment bug.
Yeah.
So then I went and learned how to produce hip hop music.
Okay.
And I did it for a little while. My one claim to fame was I did a few songs. Remember that movie on HBO? It was Forrest Whitaker's directorial debut, and it was called Strapped. Mm-hmm. And dude from Onyx was in the.
Oh yeah.
I did 3 of the tracks on that
dope.
soundtrack. Yeah, my name's actually in the credits for that. But made zero money.
What was your
I
name?
got it.
Jay
Zero
Money?
money. Yeah, Jay No Money. I got some equipment out of the deal, and then I had kids really young, and then ended up opening a martial arts business. But man, I wish I had somebody. Like I'm impressed when I hear these stories, and then you guys overcame it. And what I like about the business now is there was a time, and you know this, when the artist was the lowest on the totem pole.
Yep.
Everybody. I mean, my dad was crushing cockroaches in his kitchen with his shoes while his hit was playing on the radio, and managers and agents were living in mansions in the hills. You know what I mean? And back then, he was just a kid when he got into it.
Right.
What's amazing now is you can build everything yourself. You know, I like to hate on social media, but at the same time, I'm like, it's beautiful because
I love stories of white people being taken advantage of.
we were poor. We were a very poor black family.
Cool.
I love he was so poor and black that he ended up becoming white as he got older.
We had roaches.
Yeah.
You should have looked under my sink when I was a kid.
I had roaches with turbans.
Long Beach, growing up in Long Beach, we had roaches with, they had guns.
Yeah.
You had blue roaches and red roaches. Red roaches came in from Inglewood.
The trick as an artist though is to try to figure out your lane. Like I was able to figure, and it took, and I'm still doing it, but it's even as like when you love the creative process as much as I do, and certain cats do it, it's like you try to figure out, I got to get in my lane and put on blinders and focus just on that lane.
Right.
You know, and then you're not worrying about trying to change up to fit what radio is telling you is popping, or some A&R guys telling you, well, you should do this or you should. I've never been good at that shit. I just know what I know how to do, and I am really in love with the creative process of making.
Anytime I call you, I FaceTime Bumpy all the time, and he's always in the studio.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Every time I go with blue light. If I know the blue light's on in there, I go, oh, he's in the lab. They're like, yo, what are you doing? What's working on this?
Cataloging.
Let me tell you this. Fucking Bumpy Knuckles has about 17 albums he's sitting on.
Yeah.
And I get in his ass every time. Would you fucking release one?
Yeah.
Pop Duke was never going to come out, wasn't it? I kept telling him, please put this out, Bumpy, please.
Yeah, I did.
But sometimes making records isn't like for public consumption. Sometimes, you know, I'll make something and it'll never see the light of day, and people will be like, why don't you just put that out? It's because it's like it doesn't belong in the body of work that I'm working on at the time, and because I have this doesn't mean it needs to go out to the public. But that's some people. Something that goes back to what Bumpy was saying. It's like some people, you know, want that limelight so bad that it drives them, and that's the wrong thing to be driven by, you know, because, you know, things go in cycles. So you may be out of the limelight, but you can still be creative and still, you know, have that passion for it. And a lot of people, you know, you can see where the divide happens when people that love what they do and stay true to it, and then you get people that, you know, try to follow the trends and go with the times.
No. See, that's the thing.
Rap over all kind of weird tempo beats and use different cadences. Like, I'm
just
not
think
gonna
about
do
that.
that.
All of that stuff that you catalog, though, the longer you keep it, that nobody has it, the more it's the value of it is so much more, man. I mean, I got albums with so many people that they probably forgot that I have albums with them, verses and songs.
No,
and
but
shit
he'd be
like
playing me songs. I'm like, yo, that's fucking dope. Put that out. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm
for some asshole to say, who did the beat?
Yeah.
When is that coming out? What's the title?
I was like,
that shit don't. I don't get moved by that. I rather wait. Like look at all of this NFT shit that's going on now. Like it's about exclusivity. It's about the exclusive shit. A lot of these dudes don't have exclusive shit because they're fucking up the mystique of the process by posting the drum beat before they even add the music, and they were on social media saying, I'm in the studio, look, and the meters are moving and the faders are up and I'm doing it, and then they smoking weed and they're doing their thing in the lab, but they're showing people before the process used to be so sacred. You know, dudes couldn't afford to go to the studio.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford studio time. Studio time was something that you could end up with a $30,000 bill for, and the label is like, well, you owe us money, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But that process was a sacred thing. Now everybody's showing you what it is, and they got all these how to rap for dummies books out and how to produce for dummy books out. It's just a different ballgame.
Yeah, but the producing game is different now. Nobody's like making beats and making, oh shit, it's usually boom.
Sound packs. The sound pack boys. It's like, you know, sound packs.
It sounds like you're just checking the levels on your fucking beat machine.
yeah.
But it's also the tools that artists have are so more accessible nowadays, right? So it gives everybody the idea that they're able to do it as well, right? So like, you know, between, you know, FL Studios and
Yeah, but fuck all that. Fuck all that. Because you don't that only exists in theory.
Yeah.
You won't take your ass onto a professional football field just because you can get some pads and think that you can play football.
Absolutely.
You ain't gonna walk out into a professional hockey ring and be like, oh, let me try this shit. I can be a professional hockey player and get your ass lit up. Like there's only exists in hip hop where everybody feels like, hey, it's a community tool. Like we can all do it.
Be a rapper, no experience needed.
And then they're rewarded for it, and that's what helps that stupid cycle continue, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that. You know why? Because I said that earlier. I said it's some funny motherfuckers out here that don't know how to tell a joke.
And it's here's the thing with it. It's social media. I know I shit on it, but I love it. But
Love hate.
it breeds delusions of grandeur. It breeds
comedy and hip hop is the same.
Right. And when guys like you who are so talented that you make it look easy, people that have delusions of grandeur think that it is easy because you make it look easy. Just because you make something look easy, that doesn't mean it's easy. And guys like me and Russell make that shit look easy when we're on stage. And so now you have this whole...
Well, I make it look easy.
I make it look labored. But now you have this whole
make it look.
and the same thing with what you're talking about with stand-up. There's this whole new crop of people coming out going, that guy's doing that, I'm gonna do it too. And social media makes it easier for them to get their shit out there. And
You ever seen the funniest guy in the lunchroom get on stage and bomb?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
always
always
the
say
guy in the audience that says, dude, you were great. My friends say I should be doing stand-up too. And
that's always
every
the
time
worst.
You know
I'm
what
nice,
that is in hip hop?
Right.
Yo, your song is dope, but you should hear my man. He nice.
and it takes all my self-control to go, your friends are wrong.
Yeah.
Your friends are absolutely wrong. Don't do it.
Then
There was a kid last night. Hey man, I'm really funny. You can't fucking say that.
You can't say that.
You can't say you're funny. People ask me, "Are you funny?" I go, "I don't know. You tell me, motherfucker. I don't think I'm funny."
Right. Tuesday night, I was doing a workout room. I was doing this little bar show just to work some stuff out. And this dude in the audience just kept yelling out stuff. And they always think they're helping. They come up there, I'm sorry, dude, I was just trying to help. I'm like, if I went to a hospital, walked into an OR, tapped the doctor on the shoulder and said, scalpel, I'm here to help. It's the same thing in my opinion. So what I did Tuesday night, I said, do you think you're funny? And he silenced. And then his girls were like, yeah. I said, come up here, tell a joke. Come on up here.
Flatline.
I'm like, well then shut. Because it was a workout room. I said, well then shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
See, a rapper would have took the word I could get on. He would have jumped up there.
There are people.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a guy come on and tell jokes.
There's guys that rhyme, right? There's guys that know how to rhyme, but they don't know how to spit.
Right.
They don't have no technique to their flow. They don't have every beat you put on. See, back in the days, we rocked to a DJ playing a record. So battling was different. It was like, okay, we got to focus on staying on time with the DJ, staying in sync with the DJ, having good verses, good bars, knowing how to present punchlines. It's just, this redundant attitude that rappers have now. It's just like looking at a carbon copy of the same thing.
Because 7-word rhymes and they don't even fucking rhyme.
And some of the lyrics are good, but they don't know how to present them. They don't have
I have a theory about that. I think motherfuckers don't read enough now.
Well, I don't think motherfuckers can read.
And it sounds funny, but there's some
reading.
I get it.
Look.
I get it because you have to have a certain level of intelligence.
Listen. We come from encyclopedias, man. You know what I'm saying? Like my parents never answered questions.
Yeah, these kids are coming from Pornhub.
They said every time I asked them a question, they'd be like, go look it up. And I had the Britannica fucking volumes all in the house, and I'd have to go look through. You gotta know how to spell platypus to find platypus. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if you stuck on a 100-word vocabulary, you don't hear people speaking to you in English. And you speak English too and be mad because you don't understand what the fuck they're saying. Right. And they're just using words with 3 syllables. Yeah. So when you have that, I mean, like, of course your raps are going to sound like fucking howdy doody fucking Dr. Seuss because you don't understand anything else.
But there are some... there are dudes out here that when they rap, you think they're stupid. And then when you have a conversation with them, they're intelligent. It's like, well, why aren't you rapping that way? Like, and I don't understand it other than the fact that maybe it's because it sells or it works or whatever the case may be.
What happens is people have got a lot of. It's been told to rappers that saying the most outrageous shit about your personal business is the way to go. So instead of really writing about subject matter, the subject matter stays where it's easy to be angry. It's easy as fuck to be mad. Most cats that you say put on the record, the first thing they think about rapping is you gotta be angry. And that may be my fault. that may be.
That's when they rhyming with you.
That may be my fault because I took an anger that I had with the music business and I took it and put it on the music and I expressed it. And then now when I do shit that's not angry, they go, "Oh, he's soft." Yeah, no, they won't say that ever, but they will say, they will say, I like the raw bump. So what I did was I had to put a title on. That's where Bumpy Knuckles come from. I had to put a title on that anger so I can control it. Because Freddie Fox music wasn't that. I was making songs like the Ladies Jam. I was rapping for the girls in the beginning, but then I got in this fucked up game and people pissed me off, and I say, I got to figure out how to control this shit because I act on my shit. Like I get on it. Like if I'm feeling it, I got so that became that. But a lot of people feel like that's the best approach to take. When everybody don't wake up mad every day, everybody don't wake up, and you can say you do, you're fucking liar. You can say you do, you don't wake up in the same mood every day. Some people feel like, yo, I want to inspire people. I can't do inspirational songs because people say, oh, that's cool. Yo, and producers want me to turn them into Premiere. I rapped on people's songs and they were like, oh, I thought you was gonna do what you did on Militia. I'm like, yo, you want me to turn you into Premiere?
Yeah. Well, you gotta come with that beat for me to get there.
Because I'm gonna give the music what it give me, and I'm not gonna. That's all I can do. I can't do more than that. And as an MC, you know that if somebody give you a track and you go, yeah, this is a cool beat, and you write what you feel, and then they be like, oh, they want your last hit record on their beat, and it's like, no, it don't work like that.
I mean, going back to what Xzibit said, I just think he right. Yeah. A lot of rappers don't read. Yeah. You know, that's why there's no substance. I was laughing because as soon as he said that, I was thinking about when a teacher called you up in front of the classroom to read a paragraph. Yeah. And the people that couldn't read got mad.
Yeah. Now they making records.
Like, don't call me.
Now we got a whole bunch of them in front of the class niggas.
You know, the smart nerd people. The smart nerd people laughing. Yeah. Because it's like showtime at the Apollo. Yeah. I can't wait for this dude read this paragraph. Yeah. We gonna have some fun.
I hope he stutters.
Yeah. Hey, that was back in the days.
And you know when it got crazy? When the teacher told him to sound it out. It was over
Right.
Don't worry. Sound it out.
Sound it out.
Sound it out.
Math.
And he like
math.
They went from math to math.
He's like, and the word is fucking thug, and we on the floor, you know.
I remember being in when I was a kid. They sent us to the summer camp in the Bible study school, right? So the kid got the little tough guy. Always want to pick on everybody. The pastor guy made him come up and read, and he said, "When Mary did not have Jesus from the womb." I said, the word is womb, Earl.
Womb.
He got mad to the motherfucker.
So I went off.
So I get it. You know what I mean? And that's a big component to where everybody's like, why isn't hip hop like this and that? And now it's like, even if you can speak and are literate and can do it all, look, they have to communicate with the audience, the masses. And if they are only accepting this, and you know what I'm saying, you have to also, another thing that I have a theory about, and this might sound funny, is along with not being literate, you know what I'm saying, is like the drugs are different. The things that they are ingesting and the things that they are hearing, we don't get it because we're not on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can, like, the most we had was like beer, weed. Yeah. If you had some money, you could get a couple bottles. If you had Hennessy, if you had Hennessy or champagne, nigga, you rich. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, we was on that.
Balling.
But now it's like there's a cocktail of prescription drugs.
Yep.
Like cocaine was like here and there back in the day, but I'll sell you some before I do it. You know what I'm saying? Like we was on that.
I've actually had that thought when I'm hearing like these, and I'm thinking, I'm wondering if they're hearing something completely.
It is completely different.
Hearing something different. My clean brain is hearing.
No. There's something about what they are ingesting that is totally different from when we came up. Therefore, they are entertained by things that are working with what they have going on. So repetitiveness, very low, minimal taking off the train of thought. They want to stay in that lane.
Well, have you ever been to any of those big festivals where rap groups are
rave?
prominent? Not raves even, but you're talking I'm talking, those festivals that have multiple acts on them and stuff, and you see the crowd in the audience. That what you're saying makes complete sense because they're on the same stuff, and that's why it's resonating with them.
Yeah, now it's out of these earbuds, and now it's loud. And now you can see that the uniform of what's been going on and why everybody's trying to sound like the same thing is because it's hitting something that we, as consumers of hip hop and curators and creators.
Yeah, it makes sense because when DJ Screw was doing those mixtapes in Texas, everybody was on lean, so their brain was going slow. So the Screw tapes
sounded excellent
at the right speed to them.
I still like his Screw. I don't even fuck with that type of shit, but I like DJ.
You like the chocolate
Screw
Screw stuff?
Yeah, shit. I used to do a Screw session on my radio show and slow down shit like Before I Let Go by Frankie Beverly. That shit used to sound wicked. I thought that was creative. I'm gonna be honest, but I didn't think. I mean, shit. Drugs was going on back. Jimmy Morrison and the motherfuckers was on some crazy shit.
They were on acid and all that stuff.
But at the end of the day, with hip hop, there's a thing about timing, delivery. As MCs, if you're not built for that shit to really take those drugs and stick to the script, then it's a waste. Because you can't walk in a vocal booth and how many motherfuckers you shot, how many women you have. None of that shit matters if your bars is whack. And a lot of people forgot about that. They forgot about that. Spitting is about spitting, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, there's a lot of MCs that smoke but they still seem to make sure that personality comes across. There's certain people that just don't belong in a vocal booth. And they just don't.
That means there's two types of hip hop though, right? Because there's the hip hop where the traditional rappers rap.
Well, no, there's hip hop and there's rap music.
There you go.
Right. That's my whole point. So what you're talking about guys that actually have pen game and they rap and they
They're
work
artists.
They work on their craft, right?
Real artists,
but what's become popular as far as hip hop is concerned right now, it has nothing to do with bars. There's no bars, right? So there's two different things. There's a disconnect, and so again, what you're saying it only applies to a certain type of rapper who's arguably an MC. Yeah. Not everybody is an MC, right? Like you watch some of these videos where guys go to radio stations and they're supposed to freestyle. There's dudes that they can't do it, right? They can't. What does Sway have? Sway has plays 5 different beats and you're supposed to rap on all 5 beats. There's guys that can never do that.
That don't mean that you're whack though. So some people just are not good freestylers, but they know how to make good songs. That don't mean that you whack because you can't just jump into a freestyle. That just means that that's not your forte. But there's some guys who know how to sit down and just carve out verses that, do that. Some dudes don't like spitting freestyle because it go like people. I always hear this argument about freestyle. Oh, freestyle is not written. Where I came up, a freestyle is what you remembered in your rhyme. So if a dude had a pre-written rhyme in his head and he said it and nobody never heard it and it was over a beat, like a break beat or something, and it was something, that's considered a freestyle. So
the best videos are the dudes who had written bars, right? I mean, obviously if they add a couple of joints off the top of the head, cool. But the ones, it's like you listen to hear the wit, the punchlines, the creativity, and there's not a lot of people. Even if you look at some of the best, freestyle, I can't even remember their names now, but the dudes that would be at New Music Seminar and the battles or whatever.
Juice and Super Nat.
Yeah, so there you go. Those guys who do pick something out of the crowd and show it to me and I'll rap.
That's a special
cool.
skill. That's a special skill,
right?
Bro.
But those guys could never make records. You ever notice that?
Yeah, a lot of them can't. But look at the legend Biz Markie. One of the best performers I've ever seen live is Biz, because Biz was Biz. And it's like he could take the simplest thing and make it funky. And he didn't say a bunch of lyrical stuff, but he says stuff like listen, we come up off of guys like Starsky, Busy B. Starsky, and all of these guys that weren't considered what they consider today as a lyricist, but they rocked the party so crazy. So people keep forgetting about all these different elements of what MCs do. So just because a person can't freestyle and embody it all, as what they say, like what Supernatural does is incredibly talented. That's a talent, and whether he can make records or not never mattered to me, because I look at that's like beatboxers, guys who beatbox. You know, there's a handful of beatboxers out there that we know, but there's probably 100,000 of the motherfuckers around the world that we don't know. Yeah. So just because you don't know, Kenny Muhammad and all these dudes, those guys are incredibly talented.
Greg Nice came up as a beatboxer.
Greg Nice is another one.
He was on
You may not consider him.
Where's
Rozelle right now?
Yeah, Rozell's another one.
Hell
you know what I'm saying?
Like, Ratch had an album too.
Yeah, I mean, look at all of these different types of talents.
Rozell's working on an album with Obi Trice.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You going to hell?
I think when you have a skill set that nobody else could do but you, that keeps you around. If everybody could do what you could do, then you ain't really valuable.
Which is why I say everybody shouldn't be jumping on records with just any and everybody. A lot of cats feel like, I'm in the hip hop culture. Yo, some dude will say, yo, man, how much for a verse? Like,
no. I get that all the time.
Like it's just for sale.
Yeah, like fuck you, man. Like,
speaking of freestyles, though, I remember one of Xzibit's freestyles from, I think it was from the morning show, Wake Up Show. Mm-hmm. That's the one where I told you, where you said, and bring your own whiffy. Oops, I mean wifey. I'm so fucked up, can't read my own writing. That shit was dope to me. I don't know if it was meant to be like that, but it was fucking dope either way, because I bought it as you was freestyling.
Yeah.
And we did that back in the days to get on. Like, we would go to Marley Marl would be DJing BLS, go up there, freestyle. That was always the thing, a prerequisite for being nice, is go to the radio station, get on, freestyle live on the show, or spit live. But now it's to me, it's like, now that this record making thing is in play and making a record becomes into it, or making a song, people want to make songs. A lot of cats don't understand there's a method to songwriting. There's a certain technique to writing a song. That hook that brings you back to the same part. They don't think about that. It's certain skills that you have to have, just like a DJ. There's people who got turntables and all that shit. Like, I'm still trying to learn how to crab scratch. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at it. You know what I'm saying? But I know how to blend, and I know how to do it. But there's certain things you just want to know as a DJ, because it's just what they do. I
also believe that there's certain things that individuals just have that other people just aren't gonna have.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? I comparing it to comedy. I hear people refer to us as comics or comedians, and I heard Bob Newhart on a podcast saying, "I'm not a comic, I'm a comedian." And the guy running this pod said, "Well, what's the difference?" He says, "A comic is a person who says funny things, but a comedian is a person who says things funny. It's different. Anybody can say funny things. Shit, fart. You know what I mean? But then there's your personality. There's the thing that you have that you can't teach someone else to do. That's the comedian that just says things funny." Yeah. And I think it's the same thing with hip hop and music.
I think it's
general.
like, but that's what about rappers. There's people that know how to put the words there, but they don't know how to deliver it. They don't know how to, you know what I mean? They don't know how to deliver that. They think they delivering it, but they're not really delivering it. Like,
and I can't tell you how many times I've said, this isn't for everyone.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Just because the internet makes it look like it isn't. But that's part of the problem now. I don't know if problem's the right word, but there's so many doors now that people that, in my opinion, aren't funny, are blowing up because they have a YouTube presence, or they have a TikTok presence, and they just have a presence.
What do you think about the online comedians that are blowing up? It's a lot of comedians that are just
like guys that just have
social media
that do like a skit.
Tell you
or
what,
a voiceover, not like Tony Baker, because Tony Baker was already a stand-up.
Yeah, Tony's funny as shit.
Tony was already a comic. Tony was already doing his thing.
I never knew.
Yeah, and then he discovered the internet. He figured out how to flip that into the Instagram world.
Cholo Fit.
He's dope.
Cholo Fit,
he's got a following. He's got a massive following, but what happens sometimes...
He's fucking hilarious.
What happens sometimes
What's the name? Quinones again.
Yeah,
Frankie
Quinones. What happens with a lot of these guys, and it happened during the Vine time. Remember Vine? Mm-hmm. It was a 6-second thing, and now comedy clubs were getting forced into selling tickets because they're putting butts in the seats. Because at the end of the day, comedy clubs are restaurants with a show. And so these guys were selling seats. But what happened is that this kid goes on stage. He's supposed to do an hour. He talked for about 10 minutes, and then the rest of his hour was a line of meet and greet and picture taking. That was the show. Just being, like you were saying earlier, being seen.
Yeah.
It was all about just being, look, I mean, I can't tell you how many shows I've been on with somebody that's more famous than me, and that people will come up to me and go, man, you were so funny. That was the best I've ever, but I'm going to go get a picture with the other guy though. Because he's famous, you know?
Yeah.
I remember
It's like Dick Riding 101.
I remember when Vine. Remember when Vine was big? I remember hosting at the Improv on Melrose, and there was a Vine kid. I didn't know who the fuck he was, and I'm already fucking this. I'm already doing arenas. I've been doing arenas like for a long time at that time, and I'm hosting because I like to host. I just like to freestyle and just fuck around.
Yeah.
And I go to this kid. I go, what do you want me to say about you? He goes, you can tell him I have over 500,000 followers on Vine. I go, no, seriously, what do you want me to say about you? And he goes, hey, that's a big fucking deal, man. I go, all right, pal. So I brought him up. He ate a fat dick. And then I went back up and I said, give it up for whatever that kid's name was. I said, whatever his name was. I said, give it up for him. Apparently, he's only funny for 6 seconds at a time.
Oh, shit. Killed him.
Yeah.
Killed him.
It's the difference between somebody who does this and somebody who thinks they do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't think it's a good idea that people have more to choose from? I think I don't think
No, it's good.
I
It's
think
good that you have
dope.
more to choose from, but then you can't automatically think you're going to go on stage and do this again. No, you forgot that you edited all this shit to do this.
Yeah.
You're on stage. There's no editing.
Because I'm not mad. Hey, listen, I'm not mad at watered down liquor. You could buy the Flemency or the Hennessy. Which one you want? You know what I'm saying? It's like you got fake Gucci bags, you got real Gucci bags.
I mean, if the real fake Gucci bag look really real, I'm gonna get it.
Some people, right? People take what they like. Listen, if you got, I'm not mad at cats, and I don't mean to call cats fake that ain't rapping, but I like. If that's how you make your music, that's fine. I think that if we get in our lane and stay in our lane, cats that know how to do this, because you can't compare. You know, listen, you ever watch that video of them doing the We Are the World song? And when they start singing Michael Jackson, it looks like, the fuck is that? But he never, so you see there's always, even name brand motherfuckers have these, you hear them in the raw. It's like,
I'm like, you know, younger cats, they got their vibe, they got their wave.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
yeah,
That's their wave.
yeah, it is. Let them do it.
I get disappointed in older dudes that don't want to embrace who they are.
Yeah.
And they trying to ride that wave.
Yeah.
And that's when I think the younger cats look at us and get disrespectful because it's like, this old motherfucker trying to be us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because
When it
like I
technically
tell people all the
should be
time,
the
you
other way
ain't
around.
never have motherfucking Al Green worried about New Edition.
Yeah.
You know?
That's real shit.
Al Green was doing Al Green, and I think that's when we trying to mix the two, they're not meant to be mixed.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just embrace what we do. They do what they do, and that's all it's been. You
Yeah.
know, but once it's trying to mix and older dudes are trying to just
Squeezing into them tight ass
Yeah,
jeans and shit.
trying to squeeze
get
those
trying to get their
jeans and-
voice high.
I mean, I wouldn't even know what it would feel like to go out on stage, you know, and be accepted by some 20, 21-year-old kids. I feel weird.
Shit feel creepy, right?
Yeah, you know, motherfuckers
Hey,
mad
little
at
boy.
R. Kelly, but you got motherfuckers that try to kind of be R. Kelly.
Yeah, exactly.
And but so many ways.
And unless it's one of those instances where, you know, like somebody will flip a record from back in the day, like they did with Run the Jewels, and Greg Knight did the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like he was being himself in their element, and that was fucking fire. You know what I'm saying? Like we can coexist on certain moments in time, but there should be like the Ghostbusters was. You don't cross the beams. You know what I'm saying? Like never cross the beams.
Never.
We
I'm a
gotta
big
stay
fan
in our lane.
of originality. I believe originality is very important. We used to come to the park to battle cats in the park, and we knew, okay, they got a DJ, we got a DJ. It's 5 of them, it's 3 of us. Because we saw Cold Crush battles, and we was like, oh, that everything is emulated. Don't get it twisted. Because but the influence that you get from the predecessors or the guys that came before you, rather the guys that were there doing it, you're gonna get influence from that. But you gotta add your own shit, and then you can. It's okay to do that. But when you see the copycat shit all across the board, and everything starts to sound like a monotone all the way through, everything's the same flow, same delivery. That's when I think it kills the game. And then those guys get money I think a lot of the other cats start feel like, damn, I broke my neck to be original, and then this is what works, and that's what forces them into
But
that lane.
like you said, with the originality, I think I'm a big fan of that. Like whether you older, whether you new, I'm just looking for something that's different, that's mind blowing,
Something stands
that
out.
really took thought. Like just seen something on BET Awards. I don't even watch the BET Awards. Somebody posted a clip, and it was this one dude that was performing, looked like he was rhyming in a storm, and it was windy and it was blowing
yeah.
the
Tyler,
bag.
the Creator.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Tyler.
that shit! I looked at that shit like,
She was dope.
God damn, this shit is fly.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know what I was watching, but just
You knew it was
the
different.
artistic part of it
Yeah.
made me go, God damn.
There's hope.
But the
How
song,
he
the
even
song is
thought of
actually
that?
dope too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was-
he sampled some old record.
But
like,
that's what I'm telling you. I don't know who this dude is at the time.
Right.
I'm just listening to the song and I'm listening to the graphics and the performance, and it grabbed me to make me go, damn, I gotta find out who this person is.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was incredible. It wasn't the regular, hey, we got bitches. It wasn't none of that.
Yeah.
It was just this dude that was rhyming, and it was windy, and that shit just had me fucked up. Like, right.
Yeah.
There is hope. Like
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we got something incredible going on.
Different, yeah.
Hopefully somebody else go, you know what, I'm gonna do something crazy like that too. Or somewhat like that, but I'm gonna take it to another level.
But we also came from an era where, for the most part, the rappers that got to the top, they all sounded different, right? Like you could put on a mixtape or whatever, or even an album. One person's album songs all sounded different. I went to a concert with my daughter like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not gonna say the artist, and I'm not a fan of that artist. This was out at an outdoor giant park. There was probably 6,000 or 7,000 fans there loving this person. And I was there, with my daughter. And for an hour and a half or however long it was, it sounded like I was listening to one song. And that, in their defense, I'm not a fan. So clearly, if you're a fan, clearly you must be able to tell the difference between song to song. But I mean, again, we came from an era where when you put on Big's album, the one song doesn't sound like the next song, doesn't sound like, even if they use the same sample in some of them, like, I mean, on, whatever, it doesn't sound the same. But now artists all sound the same. The beats all sound the same.
Well, shit, the
And do
beat
you
sounded
think-
the same in the park. The
Yeah.
DJ was playing break beats, so there wasn't a lot of different break beats that
Right.
cats rapped over. It was
But at least the MCs tried to sound different.
Fucking, you know what I mean? T-Ski Valley was a lot of those break beats were the same, and cats were just doing different routines or raps segments over those
But
breaks.
it was a plethora of originality.
Originality, but don't
And
forget.
Reggae does that all the time.
Right.
Right.
I got a
It'll be
question.
one beat, one rhythm, and then that's it. Everybody, 10 artists will do a song over it. Each song was good.
Right.
Yeah, but don't forget, you
But I
got to
got a
think about
question.
too. One thing real quick
ahead,
is
go ahead.
that the culture in different cities, like what's going on in the South ain't going on in New York.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that way. What's going on the West Coast wasn't going on the East Coast. What's going on in the Midwest and or even in the Bay, everything was different. Hip hop was different from every place. But then when it all got migrated to the middle of the world, it all started to sound like one sound.
Well, the
And-
world shrunk
Yeah.
with the birth of the internet.
Yeah.
Everything, that's what I was going to ask. When we were younger, we had to go find things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with those 6,000 fans that were in that audience, it's getting fed to them like constantly fed to them on internet, on TikTok. It's just what they're given. So they just go, and I feel like they're just mindless drones now. And it goes back to the originality thing.
Yeah.
It's just what they're fed, and that's more or less what it feels like now. Because I have, how old is your kids? How old are they
Well, back then, you mean, or now?
now?
Now, my daughter's 22, my kid.
I have a
26.
I have a 26-year-old and a 31-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So they still listen to like music.
Right.
And then my brother's daughters who are younger, it's just like, it's just what they're fed.
It's a different
And
type of music.
and they don't have to. There's no record shop.
Yeah.
Like at every corner, they just wait for the internet to hand it to them,
Yeah.
and then they go, "Okay, this is what we like." You know what I mean?
Being on a magazine cover was a big deal. Like
Right.
you're actually on a physical magazine cover. Like,
Well, we're from the
man.
physical era.
Yeah.
Well, people don't even know what like album credits are, right? Because you don't get them.
You don't read
anymore.
them.
No, you don't know who did what.
We used to actually read those
used to
shit.
love
I
reading
used
the
to
liner
read
notes.
the record
Yeah.
labels and learn people who wrote, freaking, I knew Cool Giraffe's name was Nathaniel because of the credits. And
Yeah.
stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
I only found out Xzibit's name when he texted me.
Yeah.
And it came up as your government. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And your brothers Simon and Theodore, they're good?
Yes. yes. My real name is Alvin Nathaniel Joyner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All
That's
right.
crazy.
And his son's name is Nathaniel.
That's
Oh,
right.
there it
He
is.
named him after you.
MG rap, guys that can rap.
I think people don't understand how, like we talking about credits, how important that is.
Yeah.
And I think without credits, you done took money out of so many people's mouths because they live by those credits.
Right.
You can't get those credits with streaming. You know, so when you looked at the credits, you see the engineer, you seen the studio they used, you might have seen some of the writers or musicians that were down with the song. It was so many aspects where it got mastered at. So when you're doing streaming, you just wiped out all those people.
Yeah.
So how do those people continue to get work? They just know the artist. And they
now-
might know the producer if the artist scream his name in the
But
beginning.
now we should, in the shout out era, it's like, yeah, we want to thank my man who brought the Henny and Hattie Mae brought the wings.
Hattie Mae. Is this record from 1902?
You know what I'm saying? But that's how they do that. Everybody just gets shouted out, and it's just.
I want to thank Ethel for the mashed potatoes.
You know what I'm saying?
I hate it's making me feel old now though, because I'm the guy going, all this shit sounds the same.
Yeah. But that, you know what? I do embrace variety. I think variety is a great thing. I don't think everybody should make records like I make records.
Yes.
I'm glad that everybody don't make records like I make records.
Yeah, but here's something people may not know about you. And if you don't want us to have this on, we'll cut it out. But people don't know you wrote a lot of other songs for other people.
Of course, yeah.
And one of the biggest songs he wrote was Shoop. Was it Shoop?
No, What a Man.
What a Man. He wrote What a Man for Salt and Pepper.
What a Man, Groove Me, Big Shot, None of Your Business.
Yeah.
And somebody's
Like you
getting-
wouldn't think
somebody's
Bumpy
getting on my
Knuckle wrote
nerves.
What a Man and None of Your Business.
Hey, you know what? Herbie Lovebug, who gave me an opportunity to do that, I'm always grateful for that because Herbie said, yo, he knew I was a writer. He knew I could rhyme, and he just asked me to write. I didn't have a problem with doing that, and it was cool. I'll write for anybody. And I tried to get in the heads of, I always thought, how I wrote that was like, I said, let me think about how I would want a woman to think about me. And that's how I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? And
And you were up on your business aspect of the music
Hell
business back
no.
then?
Fuck no. Hell no. I'm not saying I didn't get taken care of,
Right.
But I definitely don't believe it was. I mean, they kept my name out of that shit. Even to this day, like you don't see my name on none of that shit. You know, but that's, that was a choice that was made and was what it is. But
Yeah.
Spinderella, she's the one that really always gave me my props for it. That's cool. Spinderella talks about it, but everybody else is zip mouth because they want to seem like they did it, I guess. I don't know.
Everybody wants to take credit for
Yeah,
other
and
people's
I don't
shit.
give a fuck. It's just I'm still happy that Herbie, and I'm giving the credit to Herbie because Herbie was the one who said, "Go get Fox." I live right around the corner from him in East Elmhurst, and he said he sent Pepper around the corner to go knock on Fox's door, tell Fox I need to talk to him, and he gave me a cassette tape with 5 or 6 beats on it, and I wrote them shits in one night, overnight.
Wow.
And I went back the next day or the day after, and I gave them the tape, and then they took it, and I got it back actually. So I actually demoed the verse for them.
Oh, that's cool.
Like I went in and said the rhyme the way it should be said.
goes
Like a follow track.
Yeah. I demoed it, and then they learned.
I would love to hear the demo of you singing What
That's
a
an
Man.
NFT right there.
Yeah. Somebody.
That's an
That's an
NFT.
NFT.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about that is when you say Herbie, going back to the days of me reading names on record labels, he apparently wrote everything in the early days, like on the first Salt and Pepper record, on the Antoinette record.
His brother, Herbie, Steve, and it was a couple
What's his
of
last
writers.
name? Azor or something like that?
I think they wrote. I think Salt and Pepper did write certain things, but not as much as everybody else.
Right.
Herbie was Herbie and his brother would write a lot. They were
Kid and
writers.
Play stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about the Kid and Play stuff. I never heard that.
That might be brother Fat Dog.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I never known anybody to write for Kid and Play. I never knew that. But Herbie was doing a lot. Herbie is still. It wasn't. I don't know if he still is, but I know he was always very creative with shit like that. But
Didn't Herbie move to Haiti now?
I don't know.
Or Miami, something like that.
I don't know.
Where all the Haitians are.
Yeah. Shout out to Herbie Lovebug, man. You know?
Herbie is Haitian, right?
Yeah.
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 The mistake I made with music when I got older is I closed my mind to a bunch of the new stuff, and I don't think that's healthy either. Just to like,
Nah. I think it should be a trade-off
Yeah.
between the. I think wisdom and strength is the trade-off
Yeah.
because the older you get in a business like this, you gain wisdom.
Yeah.
And a lot of these young cats need that wisdom from us. And a lot of times when they come up to us, back when a lot of cats was popping. I wasn't one that really did that a lot, but there's a lot of dudes who just shut them young cats down. Like they didn't try to show them anything. And then when their sound became popular, they got mad because these cats started getting money and started being popular, and old dudes was shutting the door on them.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of, new artists that's big now that tried to come through that passageway and it's got the door slammed in their face. So in their defense, when people, look at me, I don't, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't treated like no great MC in the beginning. I remember dudes that I looked up to, they wouldn't even shake our hands. They were looking at us like, man, get the fuck out of here. You know? Well, damn. I'm a fan. All right, be a fan over there while I go get this motherfucker wrecked. So, and then but to me, I didn't take offense to that because they didn't just hand it to us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta love a motherfucker. You gotta love a motherfucker who'll tell you, man, listen, get it on your own.
Yes. And then you got those years under your belt, and it means so much more. You got these guys in comedy that are doing theaters now, and they've been in the game for 3 years.
Wow.
It's a trip. Wow. And that's where the old head, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix that.
See, with comedy, it's different because I don't really hate on the younger comics.
I don't either.
The same way I hate on music.
Right.
Because music is so personal to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily the younger comics. I mean, I was hating the process, how it was changing.
Oh, yeah, no, but see, with comedy, funny enough, I accepted the change.
See, that's important. That's what I was going to say.
With comedy, for me, it was like, okay, I get it. There's a shortcut now. And I look at it, if I was starting now, I would take the fucking shortcut too.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't.
Right.
Within the last year, that's where I'm at now. It took a minute, but now I'm like, okay, I'll put some comedy on TikTok. You know what I mean?
There is one fundamental thing that remains the same. Longevity is the key. Longevity. Now, whether you can take your time and take a shortcut and get there, how long can you stay there? Dre says something to me all the time. He's like, it's easy to make money. It's hard to keep it, right? So what I'm saying is,
talk to his ex-wife about that.
Yeah. You turn over. Yo, he got that. You turn the turnover. The turnover in music is so fast now.
Yeah.
Like if you look at, from the time period and, the late 70s, early 80s into the 2000s, what's considered the golden era of hip hop, those people and those names and those legacies are still in place. It's hard to get past them because in order to tell the story of now, you have to tell the story of then, right? And so when you see them now, like I can't tell you where the nigga who did the walk it out. Right? I arguably, where is that guy? You know what I'm saying? Because
I think he walked it out.
Yeah. and then there's so many more of them that like stay in the limelight, but they're not there for music.
Right.
They're not there for hit records. They're there for this persona or this attention that they can bring to them. And if they do something crazy or go after somebody or have some kind of train wreck on fucking social media or it's anything and everything except what they're supposed to be good at, which is the music, Right,
but my thing is, where is there? Because I always felt like, okay, if you started rapping and was sleeping on the corner in an old thrown away sleeping bag and a bunch of cans was your pillowcase, and now you own a house, you're there.
Right.
Where's there? So where's there for the motherfucker who was raised in a house, who thinks he can rhyme, and now he just don't live in a house? He has a house and a rental property. So we don't never know where there is.
Right.
So I detach myself away from making it to some specific point of success and just know that I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm all right. I'm not asking nobody for shit. I built me a studio. That's where I looked at it as. I don't know if I look at success as making it to a certain point and then you can stand on this big mountain and go, oh. I made it. I rapped my way to the top. I
Rap my way to the top.
I think
We at 100,000 feet.
Like, people got these Mount Rushmores and shit and all this top 5 this and top. I hate that shit because I think that shit is more detrimental than anything else because you kind of once you put somebody on a pedestal, then they feel like they need to try to keep up with that shit, and then they forget about, there's guys that I reached out to that I come up with in the game that feel like, oh man, Fox, I don't know if I want to be the old guy in the room. Nigga, you are the old motherfucker in the room.
But when you talk about these Mount Rushmores, it's not the artist putting or the producers putting themselves on there. It's the fan base, right? So it's like
sometimes it's the artist though.
Then they got the problem, right?
Yeah,
then that's
sometimes.
their own thing, right?
Like-
So if I'm saying here, these are my top 4 producers in my lifetime that I consider to be the greatest or whatever, that's me. And I don't
Speaking from a fan perspective, you
correct.
say.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that producer XYZ has to in 2021 live up to that standard because his track record or her track record already speaks for itself, and that's why they are my greatest of all
But
time.
I never believed in. I think kissing your own ass hurt your back. So
right.
So
I get that T-shirt.
so
Picture sent it into his t-shirt bag.
because it's like I never say to myself I'm a great MC, I'm the best, I'm the dopest. I mean in a lyric maybe you could say
Right,
that,
of
but
course.
you never hear me. I never do it because I can show you better than I could tell you. Just put me on a song with anybody and I guarantee you'll say 2 things. My greatest accomplishment ever is when people have said, oh my God, Bump killed it. My worst was Bumpy always kills it.
I think
That's it.
all that Mount Rushmore shit, that shit is trash to me because to do a Mount Rushmore, it depends on how far somebody's knowledge of the actual culture goes back.
Yeah.
Because if you born in the 90s, then you ain't gonna really know much about the 80s. If you was born in the 2000s, you're not gonna know about the 90s.
Yeah.
So your Mount Rushmore is based on your opinion, but most of all your knowledge.
But that's what it is though. That's why it comes from the fan
That's why
perspective.
I don't like it. I call it critics with no credentials.
Yeah.
Because you got all these critics talking about who's number 1, who's number 2, and most of these motherfuckers ain't even in the craft.
Yeah.
You know, so when I'm looking at these lists of these people or these so-called journalists making these lists,
I think
It's
they
like-
do that to stir up bullshit to get
yeah,
people at each other. That's what
they do it, and they gonna see how many rappers gonna jump in it, and they done hit the clickbait
Yeah,
button.
But isn't that
and-
isn't that with anything? Like when you think about let's use sports for an example, and they get the journalists to rate and vote for who should be MVP of the season or whatever, and then there's the peer version where the all the players say who their MVP is.
I think it should be.
And then there's fans who are like, nah,
I think
all
it
of
should
that.
be the actual people that's doing it that make this list versus fucking journalists. Because any artist that's great, shit, I know I feel like motherfucking Samuel Jackson and Fresh. You know, this nigga's the king of this in checkers, and this is the king of this, and then put that motherfucking clock on. I tear all these niggas up, and that's just how I feel.
You're supposed to feel like
You
that.
sup-
That's a
supposed to
hip-hop
feel
thing.
like that.
Rappers have always, the whole game about rapping is that you're the nicest, right? So you're supposed to.
But I just don't.
There's whack dudes that think they're nice.
I just think all
Obviously.
that journalists, the top 50 rappers, because to me, I don't ever want to discredit my heroes. My heroes is like Kumo D and Melly Mel and Grandmaster Caz, and just because you don't know them don't mean they don't exist. You know, without these people that laid the blueprint, there wouldn't be no people like me.
Yeah.
And without me, there wouldn't be a lot of other rappers.
Right.
You know, so I just think when they make these lists and they looking over all these greats, just because they're not the sign of the times right now, you know, come on, Slick Rick, LL.
Yeah.
It's just like when you telling me to name top 5,
Yeah.
it's just that
Well,
I
that's
know
hard
it's
to
going to
do.
be disrespectful
hard
to
to
do.
a lot of other my heroes.
I think that has to do more with what people don't know than what they do know. A lot of times, like you said, cats don't really know, or either, hey, listen, everybody's entitled to their favorite artists.
And then what is it based on? Is it based on lyricism? Is it based on some quotable shit? Or is it based on, success?
Yeah.
Could be a combo of everything.
Nah, it shouldn't be a combo of everything because we're talking about a craft. We're not talking about an image. And people confuse the two. They put them together. That image shit don't have nothing to do with it. Yeah. The image shit'll get half these niggas destroyed.
Yeah.
Because they'll come and they pull up in they shit or they have the biggest chains on, wherever it is. Yeah. You gonna run into a nigga just fresh out the fucking tenement that's gonna dismantle one of these dudes.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like basketball in the park. You know what I'm saying? There's always that one dude in the park that just embarrasses the shit out of all these dudes. You know?
Even with the park shit, I had this analogy with the park shit. Like, rap is a craft.
Right.
And you have to be nice at the craft in order to get on the court. Now, if you was a young kid and you had a basketball, if that basketball rolled on the court too many times, niggas gonna throw that shit out in the street somewhere. Shit out of here. Mm-hmm. Same thing. You want to get on the court. Yo, man, I want to play. It's our turn now. You couldn't just get on the court unless you was put on a team or you was good enough to play. Once again, throw the ball over the fence. Tell you, get the fuck out of here, shorty. You gonna go get your uncle. Your uncle gonna come down. Yo, what happened? Yo, we having a game. He wanna play. He ain't ready to play. And then you gonna go, come on, little junior. Let me get you an ice cream. Let's go get your court, and we gonna go take you to an empty court. Mm-hmm. Like, it's different now with rap. They allowing these non-talented people to play the game.
Yeah. Because everybody gets a trophy at the championship.
I
fucking talk about this in my new act right now. We're living and everybody gets a gold medal.
No, fuck that.
I'm like, we're not. You can say we're all created equal, but we're not fucking all created equal.
I think a lot of these young cats just really want somebody to believe in them. But what they not understanding is believing in you is one thing. You giving me something to believe in is different.
Yep.
You have to say to me, listen, man, this is what I do. I'm a producer. Right. If one guy, they'll send me 57 beats in separate emails. I'm like, nigga, you ain't never heard of weed transfer? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or something different. Like, I just if I can't hear something you doing in 3 tracks, then I think
we could break it down, right?
Kind of got it after that.
Let's say, and I hate saying in our era, because once we say that, that's already y'all old. Once you say you're in our era, but coming up, when we were trying to get a deal, you had to do your mix. You had to do you had to do your best 3 to 5 songs on the cassette tape. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And you shop that shit around, and those songs took could have been a couple of months, could have been a year until you felt you had the perfect songs that was going to get you this deal. Yeah. Now, got a mixtape. Mixtape is 12 to 16 songs? Yeah. 12 to 16 songs. 12 to 16 opportunities to show the world you the absolutely nicest. 12 to 16 songs on this one mixtape. You can't expect me to respect you if you tell me you on your 4th mixtape. I'm gonna tell you, get the fuck out of here. Because that means you telling me you 48 to 64 songs in with no fucking buzz. You can't be serious.
It is easier to get a buzz now than it was back in the day. It was way easier.
But when did mixtapes change from a mixtape to a fucking album? Because mixtapes were just DJ mixtapes back in the day.
They started selling them.
When DJs stopped letting the 2-second pause between records play.
No, but like when a DJ would make an album, a mixtape, it was a mixtape, and then these cats would make an album and call it a mixtape.
Yeah,
this is nothing mixed about this.
No, they were making money off of it. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily about the
Did it become a buzzword
or the production? It became something that was like, yo, I'm making money off this.
And again, I don't know all the legalities, but I think a lot of it had to do with they weren't clearing samples and they weren't paying the producers or whatever, so they just put the shit out for free and called it a mixtape.
No, that shit ain't put out for free. Them motherfuckers changed. That shit was going out for free with other people's music on it. But when they started making money off of it, they made money off that shit.
It's a trick to the whole thing. They'll put it out free on one platform and sell it on about 5 other different platforms. Whether it be iTunes, whether it be physical product, but they'll put the illusion that, yeah, I gave it away for free on one platform. You're not continuing the sentence.
Right.
But you selling it as published in iTunes, on ASCAP, BMI. You performing a song, you making money, but in order to escape the criticism, you're going to say you gave it away for free. And nobody does research. You gave it away for free on one platform.
Right.
But you sold it at your shows. It's registered in BMI or ASCAP.
Mm-hmm.
You making money like a motherfucker, but you giving the world that,
You're free.
well,
Yeah.
what's wrong? What's wrong if you gave it away for free? No, you didn't give it away for free. And it's a trick to that. Whether clearing samples or taking songs that you don't own and you doing songs. If I come in your supermarket and I steal some steak and I give it away for free in front of your supermarket, are you cool with that? Or is it still stolen? See, that's what people don't get. And I'm talking from a state of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of cats don't understand. They want to make money so bad and in so many aspects.
Chasing that lifestyle.
Everybody got a way to make money, but you never include it in the cut.
Yeah.
Yo, Ness, you still do beats? Yeah, I still do beats. Yo, throw me some of them beats. Nigga, I'm not giving you no shit.
Throw me beats.
Throw me some bread.
It's no risk factor to it. So if you give me some beats, after I put my project out, if it do well, I'll give you money on the back end. Right. No, motherfucker, I'm working now, and I want to get paid now. You figure out that back end shit. And that's what I think a big problem is that people don't understand the value of doing good music because there's no risk takers.
Right.
It's not you paying for studio time no more. You're not paying for producers. So if you put out a project that shit don't sell, you know what? Guess what? I'll do another one. Mm-hmm. And I'll do another one. And yeah, you're on your fifth mixtape with no buzz. But still thinking like, yo, niggas need to check me out.
They're non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
They fill you up, but there's no buzz.
Exactly.